Hi, this is Niki in Japan. So I wanted to launch a personal project. I wanted to ask some respondents about life before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm interested into hearing different narratives of what happened, what changes happened in your life during the pandemic. Um, some of the key questions that I will ask are this. Yeah. So I want to ask name and age, your profile, basically your background. What do you do now? What were you doing before the pandemic? And what happened during the pandemic and your future plans? So I'll start. I'm Nikki. I'm currently in Japan. I'm 28 years old. Um, my profile. So I'm a physics degree major. I graduated with a degree in physics. I took up masters in energy engineering from the most prestigious university in my country, which is the University of the Philippines. But after graduation, I've been doing a lot of stints on sales and marketing. I have had worked in different organizations in the Philippines, startups and corporate organizations alike in different industries, petroleum, energy, what else? Digital marketing, cloud communications, even food importing. But most of my stints were basically in sales and marketing. I did a lot of business development, project management back then. Right now, I'm doing work on a project management basis for a US advertising company called Trendsetters Media. In some of my free time, because I'm in Japan, standard of living here is way more expensive than in the Philippines, and I'm getting salaried under Philippine pesos with Trendsetters Media, so salaries aren't gonna suffice. So sometimes I work here in Japan as an English instructor. Mostly, I teach students who are adults. I teach standardized tests. What else? Yes, mostly standardized tests and business English. Sometimes I also teach to like younger learners, high school students, elementary kids, preschoolers sometimes, but not so often. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm juggling part-time jobs in Japan. I have work on a project management basis for Trendsetters Media. I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. Before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I was working as a business analyst for a cloud communications company. I was outsourced through a BPO company in the Philippines. But it was kind of tough because my job there was like I need to report night shift because the account is in the US. Some of the accounts are also in Europe. So I'd rather report to the UK accounts or Australian accounts than in the US because the time difference is huge. I was a business analyst, so mostly what I do are prepare decks and dashboards, create data, analyze data that we can share to stakeholders and so that they can make sense of it. And then when COVID-19 broke loose, I was traveling here in Japan. I kind of got stuck here. I had a lot of flight cancellations then. It was very tough. It was really stressful. Um, Eventually, the company had to let go of me because it just doesn't make sense for them to like continue having me as one of the employees given I am in Japan. During COVID-19, I was lucky enough that the Japanese immigration was lax in converting tourist visas into work visas. And then, long story short, I was able to obtain work permit here. And then that started my teaching. Not really started, because I've been teaching also in the Philippines. Basically, it continued my teaching career here. Um, so so yeah, um, in the Philippines, I've started my teaching career in 2011 when I was still a university student. So teaching here is not new to me. Teaching is not new, basically, because when I was a university student, I've had a lot of tutoring gigs. Mostly I teach math and physics because those are my forte, but I also teach English to like speakers of other languages like Koreans, Chinese, some Japanese, other Asians as well. So, anyways, during COVID-19 in 2020 up to now, I keep afloat by my current job at Trendsetters and with my part-time gigs here as an English instructor. Um, in the future, I wanted to, in the future, I haven't really thought about this, but in the future, I wanted to land a career where I can really use my skill set. If I could go back to the corporate setting, if I could like utilize my business development, business analysis skill, I would love to be in that kind of industry. Or if I could pursue something related to physics or math, I'd really love that. Currently, I'm happy with what I am doing right now. Currently, I'm happy with my life so far. It's a different kind of adventure for me because at the same time, I learn about the culture, I learn about how living in Japan is, which is really nice. So I think in general, I'm happy with like my current disposition. I'm happy because I love living in Japan. It's generally safer than in the Philippines. It's cleaner. I can do things that I love. Recently, I started cycling and I've been cycling at long distances, and I never imagined I could do this. I'm pretty sure if I was in the Philippines, I wouldn't be able to do it. But here, because the roads are safe, drivers are more disciplined. I know that I'm in a safer space. So work wise, everything is like okay. Life wise, I like living here better than living in the Philippines. So basically, that's my COVID-19 chronicles. Before COVID-19, I was in the Philippines. During COVID-19, I think it's a blessing in disguise as well that I got here to Japan. In the future, if I could stay here longer, if I could live here longer, I would want to live here for a longer time. And what else? Yeah, if I could live here longer, I would want to live here. If I could move to a different place, like with a more liberal culture, like Europe, probably, I'm open to that as well. So that's all. In my future interviews with several respondents, these are the questions that I'm going to ask for this project. All right, so if you want to sign up as an interviewee in my personal project, please don't hesitate to message me. I'd be happy to schedule a call with you. You may opt to turn off your video if you're more comfortable with that. The medium of communication is basically English, but you can also communicate in your local language as long as I can understand it. All right, so yes, so I hope I get a lot of responses from people who wanted to sign up for this interview. I promise you this interview wouldn't last long. I wanted to schedule only 10 to 20 minutes of your time for this. I will be recording. I will be posting on my channel at Niki in Japan. You may opt to turn off your video if you're more comfortable with that. So if you're interested, please let me know. All right. See you then. Bye.